What's up, and welcome to the CinePacks podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Casey, and this is episode 39. Today, I'm sitting down with director NJC Visuals, Noah. He comes from North Carolina. He's a music video director. I've been following him on my personal account and on the CinePacks account for some time now, and I've seen he's just put in a lot of work. He's definitely been coming up in the music video game. He has definitely impressed me with his social media. He is really on it, and I actually inspired to be as on my social media as he is. He definitely is very genuine on there as well and posts a lot of useful content. So I wanted to have him on to give some knowledge, give some tips, and kind of just hear a little bit about his story and what he's looking to do in the future with directing videos and music videos. So what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Did I miss anything in the intro? Is there anything else you'd want to add?
No, I mean that's pretty much it. That I haven't worked with any big names, so it's not like you can name drop anybody. But yeah, that's basically it.
Gotcha. I don't know the music video scene out there too much, but what are some of the bigger artists out of your area?
Out of my area, well, I live in a small town. I've pretty much been raised in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, like an hour east of the capital, Raleigh. But as far as like bigger names, besides DaBaby and Charlotte, I guess kind of anyone under, their label, $1 Billion Baby. So kind of like Rich Dunk, 704 Chop. Those are kind of the bigger rappers. There's a female artist that I've worked with. I think she's the biggest artist I've worked with out of Charlotte. Her name is Armani Caesar. So we shot a video together. So she's one of the bigger names, and there's a bunch of upcoming people. But I would say, from what I've seen, it's mostly just rap. It's not there's not necessarily any big singers. I don't think. Maybe there is, and I'm just not informed. But yeah, I mean, and that's kind of basically it. It's just a bunch of small town rappers, all the way up to like the big city guys, just trying to keep pushing.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I think that's what's pretty interesting. One reason why I was kind of drawn to your page and want to have you on is because definitely even though it seems like you're kind of in let's say a small town, a lot of people use that as a limitation when they start out shooting videos and music videos and whatnot. And it definitely looks like you're making the best out of the scenario and just pushing the limit on all your videos and just trying to stay creative and level up your gear, reinvest in yourself. So let's take it back to the beginning. So where did this all start when you started getting into just starting shooting videos, and how did it all come about?
Yeah, well, basically, kind of growing up and being raised, we didn't have a lot of TV channels, so I was a big YouTube guy. I was watching anywhere from the nerdy, geeky gaming channels that I'm afraid to say the exact name of, and anybody on YouTube, Corridor Digital, they're a bunch of cool guys. So that's always that's where I've gotten my entertainment from. And from that, I don't know what I wanted to do with it, but I had asked for a camera. I think it was for Christmas for my birthday, and I didn't expect to get it, but I did. And like I said, I didn't know what to do with it. And I believe the first thing that I shot, I was in my English AP class, whatever. I was halfway failing that, but there was a project where, hey, we just read this book. You guys can either do a group presentation, you can do a video, you can do this or that. And I said, video? I said, oh, okay, let's do a little something like that. So we got assigned groups, and we basically did kind of it was for the book Macbeth. I think it was some I can't even remember, but I don't know. It was funny, but I basically just put my camera on a tripod,
Mm-hmm.
but I was holding the tripod from the bottom, and I was just getting hella action shots of people sword fighting and stuff, and super high and super low, super shaky, very shitty as everyone's first video is, but it was super fun, man. I love being able to control the camera and kind of capture the action. But I mean that was basically it from the beginning. I mean that's all I had ever done. And from there, I forgot how they found out that I shot videos, or I shot that one video, but this group of two girls, they wanted to shoot a dance video. I was like, all right, fine, let's do it. I'm bored. And a lot of this stemmed from boredom, because I didn't have really too many hobbies. I was just watching YouTube all day, playing fucking Call of Duty, that type of shit. And I believe I shot this dance video for these two girls. I believe I was 17. I think either I was about ready to finish high school or I just finished it. And so from there, a group of high school rappers saw it, and they're like, "Hey man, trying to shoot music videos?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I guess let's do it." And so we kind of coordinated that. And the night before, I was just up like till 3 a.m. watching like how to shoot music videos, how to do this, how to do that, camera settings, right? And basically, I linked up with these guys, shot like 3 or 4 music videos for them on my little Canon T5, and it was pretty dope. I don't know. There's a lot of horror stories that I've had in the beginning, but basically from there, someone asked me like, "How much do you charge?" I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I can charge for this, man." Like I've always been kind of business minded, So I was like, "All right, $20." He's like, "All right, bet. Let's do it. Let's do it." Shot my first video, earned like a little $20. And I mean, I just kept kind of going from there. Kind of. It was mostly like I said, to fill my boredom. It was never like, "Oh shit, I can make a couple $100 each time. Let's just make all this money." It didn't start from the money.
Yeah.
It started from boredom, and I eventually learned to like the craft, and even now I feel like I'm just now kind of actually working on my craft and getting more creative, and trying out new stuff. So that's kind of my start right there.
That's interesting, yeah, because I do agree with that, like growing and like building your craft and then getting more creative. But I also feel like in those beginning stages, like the first few videos that you create, I feel like those are like where sometimes like you're the most creative because you're like less self-conscious, or like you just like really don't care what you're doing and you just try like all sorts of weird like different stuff in the beginning. So I think that's definitely something important to like hold on to, like when you're like creating videos, because like sometimes I'll even look back on like some old videos that I've created and you'll be like surprisingly like impressed of like what you're creating, so yeah. So what were some of those first experiences like that you said that were kind of tough or didn't go so good?
Well, actually, I forgot. I think I posted about this like a couple weeks ago on my Instagram, but
I think I saw that.
There's one story in particular where this guy had hit me up. He lived in like a little small town, 45 minutes away. He's like, "Hey man, we're trying to shoot a music video." I was like, "All right, cool." I didn't know how to calculate my prices. I was like, "All right, $80, we could do it." He said, "All right, bet." We didn't iron out what the duration was.
How old are you at this time?
I believe this is probably when I was 17,
okay,
still kind of
cool.
in my first year. Yeah, I started in late August 2017. So it was probably around that time. And like I said, we didn't talk about duration, concept, anything. So I show up, he gives me the address of like some parking lot, some fire station or whatever, and he walks up. I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He like walks up with a couple guys, and he's like, "Yeah, we'll hop in and we'll tell you where to drive to the spot." And that seemed to be a common theme in the beginning. I used to drive around a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because I guess a lot of these people didn't have cars. I mean, I'm not judging, but it is what
Yeah.
it is. So we get to the house. It was like I think it was abandoned. I don't know, maybe somebody lived there, but it was a little trashy. I mean, I'm not going to say any names or whatever, but went there, shot a couple scenes. It's basically just fucking people just chilling, playing fucking Madden 06 on the TV. Like, it was, I don't know, it was just super weird, and we were just getting what we could. And so from there, he's like, "All right, we're going to go to the next spot." And then he said, "All right, we're going to the next spot, next spot, next spot." And apparently, we were driving around to these different locations with people he wanted to be in the video, because most people were on house arrest, I guess. Or I guess most people didn't have cars either. So I mean, it was definitely culture shock. Because before I started shooting music videos, like, I was the nerdy class clown white kid in the back, didn't talk to nobody. I didn't listen to rap. So really start getting into music videos like opened me up to this whole new culture that existed, and I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, it was a weird night. I mean, we were shooting from like, I don't know, like 8 to like fucking 12 p.m. I'm super long. I didn't have any lights at the time. I didn't invest in those yet, so I had to use the fucking high beams on my little Honda Civic, and point them at the guy. I mean, it was just a whole super weird situation. And and I didn't even end up getting paid in full. So I got paid like $20 that night because I guess he couldn't cash his check. I don't know. It's just a whole fucking weird situation.
Long story.
I mean, if you yeah. But I mean, you kind of get the gist. That same night, that was also the first time guns were pointed at me while I was shooting like a trap music video, and that's a whole other topic. If you're not involved with music videos, that's like people's faces when I tell them, they're like, "Whoa, what?" You know? Because but I mean, yeah. So they just brought out a couple guns and they started pointing them at me, and it was like a laser, and it was like going across my face and my chest, and I was like, dear Lord, I mean, if I died doing this, at least I'm doing something that I'm not sitting in the house, you know? Yeah. Just holding this camera, thinking that. And I mean, that kind of opened my eyes up to a lot of things. Like, hey, you've got to figure out what you're doing. We got to iron everything out, figure out the duration. You want to use guns? Okay. I had to learn more about guns. I had to learn how to check, make sure it's empty, all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, I don't use the real guns pointed at me anymore. But I mean, yeah, that whole situation was kind of weird. But every shoot, like in the beginning, was definitely a learning experience.
For sure, yeah. And I think it really comes down to is just not letting the artist direct so much as well, like in the beginning. So like you kind of put your foot down and like kind of work with them and like kind of basically just get a layout, hop on a phone call, see what they're thinking, because still, I mean, stuff like that can happen.
Even
like
worse, having one of their friends direct the video, you know, like some random person.
Exactly, The friend behind the camera hyping up the artist and just like coming up with ideas is never helpful. I don't think I've ever gotten a good idea from someone behind the camera. The artist usually will have some cool ideas, but the friend behind the camera, I don't know. It's usually like a certain type of friend too, but like manager or something usually has got some good input, but the random friend never.
That wasn't even invited. Yeah, it's funny.
But so what were some of the ways that you started like leveling up and investing in yourself? What was some of the challenges that you kind of came across shooting music videos in a smaller town?
Well, as far as living in a smaller town, what that means for me is the average shoot, I've always got to at least drive an hour. You know, I've got to drive an hour to Raleigh, drive an hour to Durham, go to Fayetteville, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's a common theme. That's a common thing I got to bring up. Like, hey, I live in Rocky Mount. Just got to throw a little bit on there for travel. They're like, okay, fine, you know. But I mean, another obstacle with living in a small town is I was never raised in a city. I was never born in a city. So every time I go to like a major city like Charlotte, it gives me a little anxiety. It's like a little nerve wracking. Like, fuck, where do I hate parking in the city. Like, where do I park? Where do I go? Can I shoot here? Do I, you know, with the cities, do I need a permit? Like, you know, like what the fuck do I have to do for the stuff that I want to do? So that's an obstacle would be kind of ignorance to what some of these larger cities are like and what you kind of steps you have to the extra steps you have to take. Like I think in New York you're not allowed to put a tripod on the ground, you know, just kind of random stuff like that. But so those are some of the obstacles I found being from a small town. And as you said, you know, I'm very heavy on social media. I've had to use that to leverage, you know, finding people and stuff like that, because I could, but let's just say I don't like to go out and network. Like I don't like to hope that, okay, let me just drive to the city and let's hope I can make a connection at this like artist showcase, or let's just pull up at this studio and hope, you know, because I always want to have leverage. I want people to come to me. And I found out that's the better way to do things, you know, leveraging social media and, you know, what I'm doing right now, posting every day and giving value and showing people this is exactly what I do. Like, I'm not going to point a camera at you and say action. You know, I got lights, I got crew. I mean, I got everything. And obviously, you know, people being in LA and New York, they're like, oh, yeah, that's standard. You know, we have crews all the time. We have grips that come with trucks and all this other stuff. But in North Carolina, I mean, it used to be like a decent film area, but you know, there's been some laws passed where the taxes on film, I think the taxes on film have gone up, and people just kind of moved to Atlanta and stuff, and so now I'm stuck. I'm not stuck, but so I'm here in North Carolina trying to show people like, hey, we can do more than just a run and gun, you know. So that kind of ties back into me investing in myself. Probably my first big purchase was maybe a year and a half ago, I bought a set of 8 Astera pixel tubes. If those sound familiar, there's like $5,000. It was my biggest purchase at the time. Like, I've been saving up. Like, I don't spend money on anything but like film and food. And I was like, I bought it. I was like, yes. Like, nobody else has these in North Carolina because it's not a big film area. Boom. Let's leverage them. Let's advertise. Like, hey, we can use them as practical lights. We can use them as police lights. Like, let's just do something. Let's do it. And I posted a video of them. Got a couple, that video's still like on the top of some hashtag because people are still liking it to this day. So kind of moves like that and investing in higher end equipment that isn't common around here has definitely helped me out for sure. And obviously if you follow my page, I got the Red Raven, super basic model, but and this is more practical for me because there's no local rental houses, so I'm not gonna. So this is how I had to get my hands on a cinema camera. I had to purchase it. And that who I got it from is kind of funny. I actually bought it from Jacob Owens. One of his family members was actually selling it. So that was a nice little that was a nice little connection for me, man. He's definitely inspired me with all the kind of businesses he got going on with lens effects and different rental places that he has. So that's a big inspiration. But yeah, man, that's basically all the obstacles living in a small town is like no real access to like rental houses and people aren't really familiar with how much you can do in a production,
Mm-hmm. What are some positives that you feel with being in a small town? Obviously, you can definitely save money because usually rent's cheaper in a small town compared to a bigger city. And yeah, just maybe elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, the perks of living in a small town, and I'm 20 now, so I'm still living with my family. So the overhead for me, like the cost of living, is super low. So that not only gives me room to invest my profits in the higher ticket gear, but it also, gives me more room to invest in other things just other than equipment. So right now, I have a business strategist on retainer. So he's kind of the one helping me and coaching me, and he's the one that suggested that I should post every day for at least 3 months. So I think I'm like almost 2 months into it, posting every day, giving people value. Like I said, I'm only 20, so I feel like, okay, I can either learn from experience or I can hire somebody who literally like builds businesses as his job. So it kind of went from me, I wasn't necessarily faking it until I make it, but when people were DMing me and inquiring about video shoots, I would always throw out there like, yeah, my schedule's kind of busy. Let's see if we can fit you in. Kind of introduce scarcity. To kind of, build myself up and like, oh yeah, I'm constantly working, which really, I didn't have anything booked and I was hoping they were going to book something, so I can pay my bills and stuff. But I kind of went from that to actually being booked up, so right now I'm available as early as July, and I've still got a couple shoots already booked in advance. So he's helped me, he's taught me, like, I used to keep everything in the DMs. But now I get calls booked through a system. So like everything gets automatically put in a Google Calendar. So super awesome. Very thankful for him. His name's Anthony Zamora. But that's definitely a perk of living in a small town, would just be more room to invest. And I don't think it's necessarily an issue. But as I grow, I'm kind of an introvert. So I like when people recognize me in public. I'm not gonna get big headed and feel like, oh, I'm fucking small town like a popular guy, which I'm not. But if people have anything to do with music in North Carolina, they maybe have heard of me. So I don't mind getting recognized, but I would prefer to not talk to people as much as possible. That's just me. I'm a little bit on the introverted side. So I'd say those are pretty much the two only perks, man, to be honest. I mean, it's nothing more than that.
Yeah, and I feel like some people might think they have to like move out as soon as they can. But I definitely feel like there is a certain time period where you can get the work in, learn the knowledge that you need to. And it's still just driving, I think that's just the biggest thing is like, obviously, like if you're in the space, you can be in it every day. You could be in it every day and you're right next to just all the shoots and all that kind of stuff and like just around more people doing what you're doing, which is important. But I still feel like, I'm not sure, like in a small town, are you able to link up with other people who have similar interests and do similar things to you? Are you still able to network like that, or?
I would say the most networking that I get done meeting new people would be me posting like, hey, I have a budget. I need a couple production assistants here. Or I don't have a budget. You're welcome to help out if you want to. And that way, other videographers shoot me a DM, and I can bring them on set and not only have time to talk to them, but also, maybe give them a little bit more experience if they're on the, more the beginner side. So that's where I meet a lot of people, is just seeing if people want to help out. I got to be a little bit more cautious with all this Corona stuff going on, even if that's 100% true or not. But yeah, that's where I do a lot of my networking, and that reminds me of something. Being in a small town, like I said, with a lot of stuff going on in Charlotte right now with the baby, I'm 3.5 hours from Charlotte. So I actually, one time I was in Charlotte, I actually got a chance to link up with Rico, so the baby's main director, and we talked for a little bit, and he said he was really looking for people already in the Charlotte area to do a lot of stuff with the smaller artists and tour with Stunner for Vegas, and I'm just not close enough to be on call like that, so that's kind of something that I had to miss out on, kind of being more on call with $1 Billion Baby Entertainment, which is fine. I like what I'm doing right now. I've been full-time since the beginning of 2018, so I don't necessarily, I don't have to drop everything and move to Charlotte and hope I get, called onto these productions, So
Yeah.
that was another little disadvantage. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind living in a small town. It's okay.
Yeah, I feel that. And I feel like sometimes with those opportunities, when they don't happen all the way, what I've seen just like with me doing videos for this long is like usually they come back around like a little bit later, and then it happens for that reason. And you kind of realize why that happened for that certain reason, and it happens now for a better reason. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Is the move,
maybe you weren't ready for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is the move to, what's your plan now? Are you planning on moving eventually, or where are you planning on moving?
I've been looking at Fayetteville. For me, Fayetteville would be closer to Charlotte, be closer to Atlanta. And it's a little bit more built up than Rocky Mount. Obviously, it's known for a couple of artists coming out there. So I've been thinking about Fayetteville. I've seen some pretty cheap places in nice areas. So I mean, it would be my first time moving out as well. So that's already a bunch of anxiety by itself. Not necessarily financial wise, because I've had like 2 to 3 years to save up, and this is all I do. But I guess just more like this is a change in my life. I mean, obviously older people who lived in several places, like, oh, it's no big deal, but it's still kind of a major decision. So I've been looking at Fayetteville, maybe Raleigh, but I mean that's about it right now, man. I don't have a 100% clear vision of the next step.
Yeah.
Currently I'm progressively getting larger budgets. Like I just booked my largest budget for July, like around $5,000. So that's a big step for me. It's more stuff for me to facilitate. Like I said, North Carolina, like I've got to be the director. I've got to be the producer. I've got to be the DP if I don't have a budget for it, So not only do I have to facilitate, talk with the model agency, book the location, make sure we can film, all the stuff involved. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I need to move to a place that I can do less work, and maybe just focus solely on directing or focus solely on DPing, that kind of stuff. But right now it's just I've got to play so many fucking roles, and it's kind of stressful at times. So I don't know like I said, I don't know what the next goal is for me, but it's definitely got to figure out what's best. I definitely want to focus on one aspect.
Nice. Yeah, I think honing in and figuring out what specific part of the process or which role you specifically want to play in the future is definitely important. I mean, you can always play different roles, but it's nice to kind of hone in on maybe like one or two of those, like directing and DPing or vice versa, or it's kind of nice just to go in that lane. But one thing I want to talk about, I've been seeing you do webcam videos with people and kind of coach them on editing or just answering any advice. One thing that I want to get from you is maybe some gems. Is what are some of the common themes that you've been seeing from people, from beginning directors, some advice that you think they should all hear that you often get asked when people book these sessions with you?
Yeah, as far as kind of the one-on-one stuff that I do with a couple of these beginner videographers is some common themes that I see that they're having trouble with. It's really just kind of the basic aspects of filmmaking. I mean, if you're a beginner filmmaker, I mean, you need to do a couple of things. You know, you can probably learn everything from YouTube, because I sure did, but you need to go out there and get that experience, man. Like, if you know, no matter if you want to shoot weddings, fucking shoot 3 weddings for free, man. Like, because the experience, I mean, I can tell you what you're going to experience, but you're either not going to retain it, or it's not going to click 100% until you go out there and face those mistakes. Same thing with music videos. Like, hey man, how do I start shooting music videos? I'm like, okay, well, first of all, reach out to as many people as Instagram will allow you. Like, in the beginning, I was DMing people, like hella artists in North Carolina, until I got blocked from sending new DMs. You know, and guess what? Only like 2 of them hit me back. So that's, you just gotta fucking put in the work. You know, I mean, reach out to hella people if you wanna, whatever you wanna shoot, go out and shoot it for free, man. And I'll be honest, I'm not heeding my advice 100%, because I want to shoot more short films. Like, I've only shot like 1 short film, and it was just like, I shot it all by myself. It was just like me and my mom, you know. I mean, it was just something, because like all I've been doing is client work, and client work is dope, but I want to shoot something dope. So I need to find more time to do that, man. But I mean, the biggest teacher is going to be experience. You know, obviously a lot of people are having trouble with, you know, maybe lighting, or their color grading is a little too intense or doesn't make sense. So I would say, you know, whatever you want to do, go out and do it for free, so that you're not learning on the job when you actually get paid, you know. As well as, what was I going to say? Go out and do it for free, and basically from there, fuck, I forgot the second one.
It's all good.
Oh yeah. And I would say the second thing would be definitely everything, like, you know, whatever project you're working on, whether it's a music video or short film, make sure everything has a motivation. You know, okay, if you're thinking, okay, I want to get this shot on a tripod. Okay, why do you want to get it on a tripod? What is it going to convey? What kind of feeling is going to give the viewer? You know, you want to use red lighting? Okay, how does that red lighting contribute to the film? And I know not 100%. I know 100% time it's not that deep. Not everything has to have a meaning, but it's always good to think that way. Like, oh, is this more of a dark, moody video? Okay, let's probably not add warm tones into the color grade. You know, so I mean, it's you just kind of think before you take action. I would say is a good piece of advice for some beginner, intermediate filmmakers.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think that's one thing that I kind of see with people not learning the basics of filmmaking and just starting shooting music videos is they don't understand the stuff behind the shot. So like, why are you using this specific effect as well? You want to use effects or like certain tools like a gimbal for a certain reason, like like why are you tilting up to this person? Why are you panning left and right? Like, are you revealing something? Is this going to motivate the story anyway? So definitely learning like what these different shots convey can definitely because pretty much like any type of different shot, camera movement, lighting is all just a tool to help you better tell a story. So I think the more you can understand that, the better your videos are going to come across, because you want to definitely be able to stand out and not just run around with a gimbal all the time, which I don't know if the gimbal craze is still, I feel like it's always going to be here.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was heavy on the gimbal craze, man. Yeah, I was taking full advantage of it. I was going crazy, but like I said, I'm just now at a point where I'm starting to think deeper, get more creative and figure out the motivation between a lot of stuff. But yeah.
For sure. So yeah, let's get into some. We had a handful of questions. We'll check those out.
Okay.
Let's see what we got. So Vontae Visions wants to know any tips on how to get bigger budgets. So what's one way that you've been able to get bigger budgets, because you said your budgets have slowly been increasing, especially being from a small town. That's a pretty big, what's it called, like big hurdle, I would say,
Yeah.
for someone in a smaller area just trying to get these bigger budgets, because I know it could be tough. You could be stuck in that anywhere from like $100 to $400, $500 range. Yeah. So yeah, what were some of the ways that you were able to get bigger budgets?
Yeah, and I think I've got the perfect answer for that, at least for my situation. I would say, going back earlier, I'd say North Carolina. I didn't say people don't see the value in bigger productions. I said kind of people don't know that you can take it a step further. So what you've got to do is, I'm doing on my Instagram. You got to show people that you can take it a step further. Show the behind the scenes. So when these artists who aren't 100% knowledgeable on filmmaking, they see this kind of stuff. They see the work you put in. They see how far you can take it. They're like, oh, well, shoot. Let me spend a little more with him next time. Let's see where we can kind of actually take this. So that's one thing that I've been doing. I've shown that we can take it a step further. I've shown that, yeah, we can get props, but props aren't just like, it's not just prop cash. Like, you can flex with the prop cash, cool, but props could be like boxing gloves. Props could be candles at a romantic dinner. Props can be anything, and it doesn't even cost that much to add on stuff like that. So as far as getting bigger budgets, that's just gotta be one thing that a beginner or intermediate videographer has to communicate with their clients. Like, even if you just throw it in the conversation when you're talking about your prices, you could say, yeah, this is my fee, this is how much I charge, and to be honest, if you had a couple extra hundred, we could do something like this. So it's really just, you've actually got to do the work, whether it's for free and whether you get a whole crew of people together and you work for free, and then you advertise that as like a $2,000 budget shoot. You've just got to, inform some of these artists who don't know that a $5,000 video is going to look way better than a $500 video. So it's all about kind of educating people who aren't as knowledgeable, and just experimenting around with yourself. Like, what could you do with $1,000? What could you do with $3,000? Kind of go ahead and solve those problems early. Like, what if somebody wants to rent a car? Or like, okay, let's go ahead and do some research and have that prepared for when somebody wants to, or so I can advertise it.
Exactly.
So it's not going to fall in your lap. It might, but it's not going to necessarily fall in your lap. And if it does, you need to know what you want to do. You need to know how to execute before it does. So
when I recently had a higher budget for this Nef Pharaoh video. He's an artist out of the Bay Area, and I had a little bit higher budget. But one thing I've noticed when I do higher budgets as well is, like, I'll end up paying myself less because I'm just paying more and more people who are more specialized in their jobs, which always comes out having a better product, which helps me in the long run. But I mean, I even went out and got props. I spent a lot building the wall, but I went out and got a bunch of like furniture off like Nextdoor, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace for free, maybe for like $5, and then we like spray painted it, and then we kind of made like this red room scene. It was pretty cool, but like super cheap. If you have a cool idea, like Goodwill, any thrift store type stuff. Yeah, a lot of times,
a lot of these ideas aren't expensive,
No, exactly. You can get old TVs. Old TVs always look cool, but like Goodwill, or even returning stuff. Like, I've bought stuff off Amazon plenty of times and just returned it back. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the secret. That's the secret
right there. There's definitely some times where you can do that, and you kind of have to just to level up your production. And then I was also going to re-comment on how important it is to market yourself, because you've definitely seen a lot of success in that. And that's what helped me come up in the beginning as well, is if you market yourself, like, you could do one shoot and then do like 5 posts with it.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's way better than shooting 4 other videos, because sure, you could post just the video, like, this is the finished video, which is cool, but the artist isn't going to see you making that connection with them. It's not going to show you directing. It's not going to show you doing this creative idea. And then that's what the artists and other directors also, like, other people might see that. I'm sure you've been hired before just to come out and DP, because they see how other directors see how creative you are, or see that you're putting in this work, and they're like, oh, I want that on my set, Yeah. So you're really just trying to sell yourself on Instagram. And I think just coming up with those like split screen posts, those have been huge for me and definitely get me tons of followers. I was gonna tell you should get on TikTok. Are you on TikTok yet or no?
Man, I was thinking about it, man, but I'll be honest. For what I feel like I would have to do, I feel like it would take a lot of. Not saying it's not worth it, but I feel like it would take a lot of time thinking of creative ways to post content, but not look like one of those basic cringy filmmakers, or those cringy photographers that pull up on people like, hey, let's shoot, something like
all
that.
that's super cringy. I did it for a while. I got up to like 80,000.
Oh yeah,
followers. Yeah, I had some posts pop off. It was cool, but then just like when all this kind of started, like the COVID, I don't know. I just kind of like got sick of it. I still watch TikTok. Like I'm still in the community watching it, and I'll respond to my comments when I have to. But it's definitely cool. It's definitely, I've found some ways to drive some traffic to CinePacks.
Oh yeah,
which was kind of cool. Just posting about like the free packs, and everyone just goes and gets those. So
yeah, the free packs is a fucking good idea, by the way. Thanks, is a super good idea. Yeah,
sure. Yeah, we kind of just came up.
I saw
with
you
that,
commented
like,
on one of Gary V's posts and asked him about it too.
Oh yeah. I forgot. How did you originally come across CinePacks? I forgot how I originally found you.
I followed you guys first. I mean, I think it was from, I saw another director in the area using your packs, but I had to like do some deep dive because he didn't tag you. So I'm like, where did he get these? Like, I think I first saw the paper effects with like the caution tape, the transitions. I'm like,
okay, yeah.
I was like, did he make that from scratch? No, he didn't. Where do you buy them from? Where do you get them from? So I mean, it took a little bit of research, but I followed you guys from there. It was a bunch of dope stuff. So
appreciate that, man. Yeah, definitely. I've liked seeing your work with it. We have a bunch of new packs in the work. We just been trying to finish them up. We have like 3, so I'll definitely send you some of those over to check out. But someone wants to know, 919 per X wants to know, how much capital did you start your business with?
I mean, I'd say 0. At the time, my first job was working at Bojangles, making biscuits, fucking boxing up food. So this was the time during I shot my first video, and I was basically making like $400 to $600 a month off Bojangles. I just had to pay my car stuff, and I had like a couple hundred left over. Basically, and I just used that. I almost spent it all every month, all my leftover money on filmmaking gear. Some shit that didn't last, some shit I have to this day, So that's kind of where I got my capital from. And then, of course, doing the $20, $50, $80 shoots. It took a long time to upgrade my camera. Like I said, I started with a Canon T5, and my biggest goal was like, man, I want to get the A6300. I want to get that 4K, man. I want to see what it's all about. It took forever to get money for that, for my second camera, but once I got that, it was definitely easier. I got more confident in pricing and more confident in my actual filmmaking ability, and it was a slow grind. I mean, I just got the red at the beginning of this year, so it's not like I've had it or anything. And I didn't take out any loans. I didn't finance anything. It was all just, kind of just saving and not spending anything on anything extra. I probably the most expensive thing I bought for myself would be, I bought like a VR headset, but then I returned it a month later because I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, let's just keep spending on fucking or investing, just keep investing. But I'm at a comfortable spot, especially for being 20, for what I got saved up, and it's all due to. It feels easy now because I don't exactly know what the hard work was like, but I know it took a lot of fucking hard work and just saving. It's just you got to suck it up. As an 18-year-old, when I had this side hustle with money coming in, it's like, ooh, I can spend it on whatever I want, but nah, just save it. Or invest. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely hard.
Yeah, I think especially like you kind of touched on is. Investing in some filmmaking gear that's lasted and hasn't lasted. One of the biggest things that's lasted for me that I haven't swapped out is, obviously I bought more and like swapped them out, but like lenses. I feel like if you buy a really nice lens, it's going to continue. Like they don't lose that much value. Like a camera, actually the GH5 though, I have the GH5. That camera is like held its value quite a bit. It's still worth like a cool like $1,200. It's been that camera's been out for like, I want to say like 5 years. I got it in like 2016, 17. But yeah, lenses. I've still had some of the, like, I bought the Sigma 18 to 35 super early on, before like all the big hype on it, before it came with like the red and all that. Like, I've had that lens forever, and everyone still uses that lens. I'm sure you have that lens. Yeah.
Daily user for sure.
Exactly.
And I actually might actually sell all my lenses and invest in a new set. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But yeah, lenses and cameras. Besides the A6300 that I broke, and the second one that I broke, everything's pretty much lasted in that realm for sure.
Exactly. And I like to hold on to some old cameras as well. Especially like if you just want to toss it to someone to shoot some behind the scenes. Like if you have a DSLR, that's always nice.
Yes.
It's always good to have a second camera laying around, especially, you never know. So it's good to just hold on to your old cameras. It depends on your situation.
Yeah, this is my main BTS camera right here, man.
There you go. That's all you need. Exactly. That's why I invested. I actually cracked my screen, but about $400, damn near $400 to replace. I didn't even do it. I just slapped a screen protector on. They're gonna come out with a new iPhone. I'm like, I'd rather put $400 towards a new phone. It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
So Bo 97 wants to know, what computer setup do you have? Do you use proxies, and how do you export for YouTube?
So I kind of leverage my social media. So a guy reached out to me from Charlotte, and he said he was willing to build a PC and let me use it for a few months, no cost. And I just had to shout him out a couple of times, and so I did that. I don't know shit about computers. Like, I know, I know the basic components, but like I don't know like how to overclock or any of that bullshit. But right now I'm just got a custom built PC right now that I edit a lot of my stuff off of. And he said, do I use proxies? Not right now. This computer it handles red footage better than my Sony Alpha footage, because Sony Alpha footage is a little bit more compressed. So I don't usually have issues. In the first year or two, I edited it off of cheap ass laptop. I used proxies for all my 4K footage. I mean, it was definitely a headache. So I'm glad I'm on a PC now. I say definitely invest in a good rig for editing. I mean, it's going to save you a lot of headaches. And did he have another question in there?
I think you just said how to export for YouTube. Anything
specific?
I mean,
what I tell people is, for that kind of stuff, I could definitely tell you. But I'd say all the information's kind of on YouTube. You know, just best export settings. It's not that complicated.
They always update, like in Premiere, like the export settings. So I usually just type in best export settings Premiere 2020 and just watch the most recent popular video, and then there'll be some free game in there. But I kind of did the same thing. Is just found I had some friends who were into the PC stuff. I'm probably gonna have to hit up some more friends this year. I'm gonna upgrade my PC. PC still runs fine, but I'm just kind of at the point where I kind of want to like beef it up, because I've seen what's out there and what it can do. So I'm kind of at the point where I want to beef it. I've had this computer for about 4 years, so it still runs great. Like I just edited a 6K red video, no proxies, did tons of After Effects. It's completely fine. But yeah, like you said, I have trouble with the DSLR footage because and drone footage. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried. Drone footage is horrible. So, yeah, learn how to make proxies. There's tons of videos on that. But, I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything else that we should be looking forward to? Definitely people can go follow you on Instagram. Anything else that you want people to do?
Yeah, I've got some stuff coming up. Like we briefly mentioned, if you're on the beginner intermediate level and you have, like, specific questions you want me to answer, I do offer like kind of one-on-one Zoom calls where I can share my screen and kind of show you in depth how I do certain editing, or how I, do some aspects of pre-production. I know a lot of other people in North Carolina find value from that, because like I said, we're not in a big film area, so I'm trying to, give as much value to people as I can. Another thing, me and my business strategist I mentioned before, we are working on opening kind of like a mentoring group. So it's different from the one-on-one thing. Kind of, we had everyone in one group and we meet weekly, and we are planning to kind of end up coaching a few specific people to actually start bringing on set regularly, because like I said, I'm kind of doing all this production stuff almost by myself. I hire a production assistant sometimes, but it's a lot of fucking work for me. So that's something we potentially have coming up, is kind of finding a good group of people that are actually driven and that can actually execute. And besides that, man, I mean, the only thing I got coming up is just to keep trying to better myself as a filmmaker, keep getting more creative with the treatments, all that kind of stuff. I think that's pretty much it right now, man. Just trying to keep building and go farther.
Nice, cool. Yeah, I think that's definitely. I think there was definitely some cool advice in this episode for people, especially coming from a small town. I think that was a really cool perspective. I don't think I've had that specific perspective on here, like especially like someone in the midst of it. Usually everyone's just like I interviewed Nicholas Jandor. He came from a small town, but now you probably seen his work. He's doing crazy big stuff now.
Yeah, so. I followed him for a good minute, man, and yeah. I agree with you, man. I don't feel like it's kind of easy to find those people who made it out once they have. And made it out is a very general term, but I agree. I hope that I can give some value. Like, I'm not, like I said, I haven't worked with too many big names, too many big labels or anything like that, but I hope to help somebody out.
For sure, yeah. And that's why I had you on, is definitely because the amount of work that I see and consistency that you put in, and especially even from you just doing that post about CinePacks, like, what's it called? Like we have you signed up with our affiliate program, and we just saw like how many people just off one Instagram post, like YouTube definitely has better conversions, but you definitely have like a lot of audience that like rocks with you and follows you. And I think that's really cool that you've been able to build that up, because like YouTube's a whole different game, because like people, I feel like stuff converts a little bit better on you. I keep hitting that. Yeah. Stuff converts a little bit better on YouTube is because people are already on their computers. Like, people don't usually go and buy things off of, like, we find that people usually buy our effects on when they're on a computer versus when they're on Instagram. I personally don't like buying things off Instagram. Like, if it's a digital product, I might save it for later if it's that cool and go check it out.
Yeah, I got scammed a couple of times.
Yeah.
I got scammed a couple of times, for sure.
For sure. Cool. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you consume your podcast content. Until next week, I'm Tyler Casey. This is an interview with Noah. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.